The streets don't play, Kanan.
On the New York Transit line.
You only as good as your crew.
No doubt.
If my train goes off the track, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
You already know how my shit ended. This is how it started.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mark Dark, and I'm back with another video. If you're new, if you love power, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like the video, and leave your theories, comments, everything down below. Now today we're going to be talking about Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Episode 1. This is the recap. Now I'm going to try my best to go over all the key facts. If I miss anything, you guys let me know down below. And as I told you in my quick thoughts early impressions video, this episode felt like a movie. It was straight up fire. I love the way they introduced each character. Of course, I love the way that they had your boy Kanan, and I'm talking about 50 Cent, narrate this whole episode. And he's going to continue to narrate the whole story of Kanan. But overall, man, solid episode. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. And of course, we know Kanan made a lot of mistakes. He's eager to prove himself and to help out his mother. But by doing that, he's made a whole lot of mistakes that's going to cause the whole organization a lot of issues. So let's begin, man. This is the recap. Let's go. Now, 1985 is the beginning of Kanan Stark's journey into the Power universe. And as we see, he's getting beat down at the park, right? And this scene right here is actually from 50 Cent's life. He said this, he just actually talked about this last week. But this actual scene is a part of his life. And a lot of the fans were correct that he was going to use part of his story within this show. A lot of you guys have already said that this show reminds you of Get Rich or Die Trying. Well, it's going to probably continue to remind you of that because 50 Cent is going to probably use more of his life in this show. Of course, he got beat down at the park. He was showing off, or at least talking about his money. He got beat up, right? And to some, this storyline right here probably hit close to home because y'all know how it was. If you got beat up or something happened to you, somebody was picking on you, and you go home crying, your mom ain't having it. At least that's how my mom was. She finds out you getting picked on and you didn't do nothing about it, and you just sat there, you didn't get no type of, clap back on them. She's going to tell you, look, if you don't do something about it, I'm going to hurt you. Now, Post is Rock's old ex, and he's not here anymore, right? Now I want you guys to pay close attention to the name, his character, because later on in the episode we learned that him and Unique's brother Ronnie had some type of deal going on within the organizations. Now Kanan has said that Post, he was the one that put his mom on in the game, so of course a lot of the original elements of his organization is carried on in Rock's organization, but it is some differences, right? Now, Rock, she goes upstairs. She talks to her son. She's like, what happened? Where was Jukebox? Of course, Kanan tells her Jukebox was being held down. And Rock is like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go back to that park. She gets a sock, fills this sock up with the big batteries. You already know what I'm talking about. And she's like, look, we going back to that park. Plain and simple. Because it's whether you face your mom or you face these kids at that park. And trust me, you don't want to face your moms. This is something that happened to a lot of kids growing up. Like I said, this scene definitely hit close to home for a lot of people. And now Kanan has to go back to this park and get revenge right there in front of his mother. And as she tells him, you better go do this. You know what I'm saying? So now Kanan, he goes, he gets his revenge. He got his fists all clenched. He's pissed off. His fist is clenched like that author meme or whatever that's been out. I'm like, okay, I see what time it is. But this is exactly what makes Kanan who he is. His mother. That influence of his mother. Motivating him to go out there and do exactly what probably needed to be done. I mean, the kids did jump Kanan. They jumped him, held down Jukebox, and they expect him to come back to just talk. No, it's not going to happen like that. So I was definitely happy that Kanan was able to go out there and get his revenge. Then we fast forward to 1991, and now we have 15-year-old Kanan Stark. Of course, this kid has an opportunity to go to a different school, a very expensive school, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. The academics was better. Of course, this school cost over $150 million to get built. I mean, a lot was put into school. Of course, Rock wants him to go there because it's a better chance for him to further his education. He can go off to college. He can possibly stay out of more trouble, right? But we know Kanan deep down inside, he wants to stay there. He wants to stay around his peoples. That's just what he wants to do deep down inside. Then his mom tells him, look, you need to go to this school, take this test, get out of this area. Plain and simple. She wants to make sure Kanan does not end up like her. She wants to send him off and, hopefully help him get a better life. Then we fast forward to Jukebox. And don't let that pretty voice fool you. As your boy Kanan said, she was the hardest person he knew. And Haley Kilgore, man, she's going to kill this role. She dominated in this episode. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's only going to get better and better. This girl has a deep, dark side to her. You can, feel it by just watching her on the screen. You will see it more and more as this season continues to go. Now, Kanan has a crush. Davina is her name. We talked about her character weeks and weeks ago. Hell, we even talked about her over a year ago when they introduced her into the cast, Lovey Simone. Now, what we do know is this. Buck 20 and Davina definitely has something going. Of course, your boy Kanan does not like Bucko 20 at all. He is connected to Unique's crew. But at this particular moment, Kanan does not know this. He doesn't know that Buck 20 is working with Unique's crew. He just sees a guy that has all these fancy clothes that's getting the girl that he's been trying to get forever, right? Jukebox tells him to just give up, and Kanan is like, no, he will never give up. He's going to try to pursue Davina, and you can already tell she was feeling him, and they're going to have a moment later on in the season. Now we get to Lulu and Rock. They find out that their corners have been hit, or their corner boys at least, and one of them has been shot. Your boy Marvin, this dude, I can tell why he does not make decisions. Because just based off the first time seeing him, he seems like he doesn't take a lot of things serious. He's always eating. Of course, he wants to just go out there and seek revenge. We know that it is Unique's crew that went out there and did this. Now one of Rock's peoples has been shot. And she wants to know exactly what's going on. How can she fix this? Why are the corners being attacked? What are the details? She tells them, look, she will handle this, right? Now, it wouldn't be the 80s and the 90s without the old school OG arcades. And that's exactly what they present to us. They was in there playing Street Fighter, straight up classic game, right? Then Kanan realizes that Unique and Bucko 20 are working together. So now he's like, man, that's why he has all this expensive stuff. That's why he's so fly at school. And you already know he's plotting and planning. He's like, man, I definitely got to work for my mom. I definitely got to do whatever it takes to help her out, to be a part of this family business. Then we get to Lulu and Rock, and we get to your girl, Tony Deep. And we know in this episode, she definitely was taking it deep. And this girl was definitely talking too much. Totally disrespectful to Rock. The way she was talking about their product is all ghetto and this and that. They trying to talk to Hugo and discuss business. Now this Tony Deep character, she's running her mouth. As I told you, we named her Becky. And she was definitely getting on my nerves. Now I'm going to tell you right now, the way she was talking to Rock, you already knew Rock was not going to play around. She's going to do something to her. You guys was predicting that Rock would do something to that dog, and we knew eventually that was the case, right? Now Rock makes a connection. This will probably be her love interest. His name is Symphony or whatever, and he seems like a cool dude. He works at the club that you guys say, you have said that this is Club Truth and back in the day. What do you think? Is this Club Truth? To all my New York City fans out there. But Rock is having a conversation with him. I believe she's going to use him. You can use this guy right here. You can get some more intel on what's going down in these clubs. And that way, Rock can have an upper hand on Becky. Then we get to the diner scene. And A lot of the cast have said this was their favorite scene of the season. Everybody was together. I believe it was around the time around COVID and stuff when it was filming. So this was a special moment for everybody, right? Then your boy comes in. Famous and his sister Jessica, they come in, and you already know Lulu was prowling. He was already peeping game. Like, okay, I got to get Jessica. If you've been following the channel, you already know that Jessica was going to be Lulu's love interest. Do you guys trust her? I'm going to tell you right now, I don't trust nobody, but we know that she will have connections within the music industry. And of course, Lulu will be connected. Maybe they can help Jukebox out, as I told you guys. Maybe that's the case down the line, especially since she's so deep into this whole music thing, and her uncle Lulu having that connect with Jessica will make a lot of sense as far as getting into the music industry. We get outside, and of course, Famous is like, I don't want my sister messing around with Lulu, right? But she's a grown woman. She's going to do whatever she wants to do. You came to that diner for a reason. If that was the case, you should have never went there. But that's just me. Then all of a sudden, Marvin screams. And then we see this car. They roll up and they start shooting, right? And they shooting up in the air. So when it's happening, I'm like, okay, they ain't trying to shoot them. They more likely trying to scare them. We knew something like this would happen. And then when they show the back of the car, we see Bucko himself, Buck 20. And I made the prediction videos about this because I believe this guy was Buck 20. And I was believing this was one of the reasons why Kanan would want to do something to him. All this did was add more motive for Kanan to, of course, solve this whole Buck 20 issue, right? We know that they did this because of who? Unique. Unique knew about this. He knew this would happen. And we will talk more about that later on, right? Now, of course, Jessica, she's like, oh, Lulu, no one has never did anything like this. Protect me. Well, of course. I mean, he did what he had to do to protect you. Lets us know this whole relationship, this love interest thing will be very deep between Lulu and Jessica. Now, Kanan is telling his mother he understands what she's been talking about as far as these secret codes. They're using the supreme mathematics codes to communicate with each other. He understands some of it. He knows a lot. He wants to be a part of the family business. But Rock is telling him, no, you don't need to worry about this. I will handle everything we're going through. You don't worry about what I'm doing, right? She wants him just to mind his business. But Kanan ain't having it. Y'all know how teenagers are. They're going to continue to keep picking and poking until they get what they want. And that's exactly what Kanan did in this episode, right? And then we get to your boy Kanan. He's outside talking to Jukebox and Famous. And Famous is like, look, if I was you, I would just fail that test. I wouldn't want to go to that school with all them people. Of course, Kanan is thinking about it like, maybe you right. Because we know deep down inside, Kanan wants to stay there to protect his mother. Of course, to help her out and be a part of this family business. But the way that Famous presented this, it was like, you right. Maybe that's not the right idea. You know what I'm saying? I know I got to take this test to get into this school, but maybe I should just stay. That may be my best move. It almost felt like he will be betraying his family if he was to take that test serious. At least that's what I was feeling from his perspective. And then we get to your girl Rock. She's having a conversation with Unique. Very interesting conversation because we learn and we find out the reasons why Unique did what he did. So those guys that was on the corner, you know, the guy that got shot that was in the hospital, Unique knew about that. And he said, yeah, that was my people's. And they was not supposed to do that. They were being handled. We were solving that issue, right? And then we get to the issue of why these corners are being taken. And Unique is like, look, 139th and above, that was supposed to be no man's land. That is something that my brother Ronnie and Post, we agreed upon a long time ago, right? But Rock is like, well, Ronnie would have never approached me like that as far as rolling by, shooting up in the air. That is something that he would never have done. Now, we know Ronnie is serving life in prison. That is Unique's brother. So it is some misunderstandings on that behalf. But the two said, you know what? Let's make a compromise. Let's make a deal. which is Rocket says, you know what? 139th and up. How about you get 140th through 143 and I get 144 to Suppin. So they had pretty much made this deal. At first, your boy Unique was like, I don't know about that. But then he was like, word is bond, we good. So they have made a deal. It is squashed as far as we know. Unique will be getting 140th through 143. And your girl Rock will be getting 144 through Suppin. And if that's the case, it should never be any issues. But the thing about this is, Kanan does not know about it at all. He thinks he knows about everything, but he doesn't know that his mother has made a compromise with Unique's crew. That is no longer a problem. They have settled this, right? But when Kanan finds out, we know it's going to be entirely too late. And it's a damn shame, man, because the last thing you want is a war and somebody trying to take you out. Now, we get back to your girl, Tony Deep. And while she was taking it deep, getting her cheeks clapped, all of a sudden she smelled something. And she was like, let me go check this out. Something's not right. She goes in the kitchen and she realizes that Bella is done for. Bella is getting heated up in the microwave. Well, this is what happens when you run your mouth to Rock, when you think you above everybody and you think you can just talk to someone without respect. Seems like Tony Deep will be having hot dogs tonight. And hey, hopefully she learns her lesson. Don't talk to people you don't know nothing about. As Rock told you, I am not the one. So I'm eager to see the next time she has a conversation with Rock. I want to know exactly how she's going to talk this time around. Now, as I told you guys earlier, that conversation that he had with Famous and Jukebox, your boy Kanan is like, you know what? I made my decision. I'm going to just flunk this purposely and stick around because I want to stay here. I want to go to school here and, of course, be around my moms and be in the family business. So now Kanan has pretty much just gave up. And it's a shame, man, because this kid, he would have had an opportunity to do other things, but he decided to choose this lifestyle. Now, your girl Jukebox and her love interest Nicole, we talked about this last week. We knew this was going to happen, right? But it seems like Jukebox is having a hard time probably coming out and probably explaining herself. It's going to be very difficult. And during this time period, it was difficult to come out and explain to people, how you really feel about people. What's your sexuality? Of course, we know her father, Marvin, if he was to find out, do you honestly believe he's going to accept this? I don't think so. I really don't think so. And then, as you can see, we get back to the street, to the block. You can see the two streets I was talking about. Of course, 140th is the street that Rock gave and had a compromise with Unique and said, you know what, your crews can have those corners. Don't worry about it. We good now. But see, Kanan doesn't know that. He can see Buck 20 sitting out there. In his eyes, he's saying, okay, this dude is disrespectful. He's going to continue to take my mom's corner. I saw him already shooting up in the air. This dude is straight up disrespectful. He has all the motive in the world to take down Buck 20. At least that's what he's feeling, right? And that's exactly what he does. He said, you know what? Let's get him out of here. He goes with his boy D-Wiz. And D-Wiz is like, okay, let's get it cracking. And Kanan says the famous 50 Cent quote, get the strap and let's go. And this D-Wiz character, man, he's down for the cause. He's not playing around. During this whole exchange, this dude was making some funny facial expressions. I'm like, dude, but you looking crazy. But he was looking out, trying to make sure no one was coming. Your boy Buck 20 walking up like Bishop on juice, not realizing he about to get the business, right? And Kanan, they don't play around. He pulled out those straps. They just start firing. See, when you do things like this, Kanan, you got to make sure you have no witnesses. You got to make sure everybody is eliminated. That way it can never come back on you. The mistake he made was doing this without knowing all the information and, letting people get away. You just don't do that. So now your boy Buck 20 is crawling, begging for his life. He's done for it pretty much. And you guys were saying that he was saying some type of D word. Was he trying to say Davina or whatever? Who really knows? At the end of the day, Kanan caught his first body. The fan prediction came true that this guy would not last. This is the reason why Kanan, said F Buck 20. He does not like the dude at all. At the end of the day, Buck 20, he did shoot up in the air. He did some bad things. The sad part was it was all squashed without Kanan knowing anything about it. And of course, his mother is pissed. Rock is pissed off. He's like, why did you do this? You didn't even know what's going on. I already made a deal with Unique. We was good. And Kanan is like, man, I did what I had to do. I'm trying to protect you. I want to be in the business. You need to let me be in the business. Of course, they are all pissed off. Lulu there, he is pissed off. Uncle Marvin is pissed off. And hell, Marvin is like, Jukebox, where were you at? You know what I'm saying? And at the time, I was believing like, man, was they supposed to be in school? But apparently not. So it makes sense for Marvin to be like, where were you at? I mean, they cousins. And I believe that Jukebox is probably a year or so older than Kanan, but I know she is a little bit older based off that diner scene. But of course, everybody's still pissed off. And, Rock is telling Kanan, you can't be in the game. And, Kanan is like, man, I'm grown. She wants him to go to his room. We talking about he's grown, and that if you wanted me to not be in the game, maybe you should have just sent me to my grandparents a long time ago. Which is probably true, right? If Rock would have just sent him to his grandparents, when he was younger, he would have never been a part of none of this. But she kept him around. He saw all of this. It was embedded into his DNA. So that's all he knows, and that's what he wants to be a part of. Of course, Kanan, he goes upstairs. He's breaking down. His hands just shaking. He just caught his first body. I mean, mentally, he's not there all the way. But his mom, of course, she still wants to make sure she makes the right decision when it comes to his future. I mean, this dude is going through a lot right now. She's trying to think of what she needs to do. She understands that Kanan's life is on the line, because you want to take out Buck 20 and it's still people walking around that was around the scene. You shot at other people too. Unique's crew is coming. The question is, when will they come? And of course, she tells Kanan, look, I need you to go outside and take the trash out. Not knowing how hot her son really is, well, she's going to find out that Kanan, he's at the top of the list. And as I told you guys earlier, if you're going to try to take somebody out, make sure no one survives, gets away. So as Kanan goes outside, he starts getting fired at. Luckily, he did not get hit. Your girl Rock comes outside. She starts firing back herself. She's like, man, I can't believe this happened. And Kanan is all shook up. I mean, it's just a bad day for them, man. A very bad day. And now she realizes that, man, my son is at risk. She realizes that her decisions from the past has probably cost her son his safety, and she's probably not going to have any other choice but to teach him the game down the line, right? Then, as she's looking, she sees the one and only Omar Epps. His character in this show is Detective Malcolm Howard. And you guys have already said this is the guy that's going to cause some issues. Of course, we know he's like, look, it's already out there. The block already knows. Your son pretty much has a price on his head. Of course, it's just a matter of time. You need to watch yourself. And he wants to know some more information. Of course, Rock is telling him, you don't worry about my son. He doesn't need to talk to you. Plain and simple. But he does tell Rock to stay safe and watch herself. I want to know what's the history between these two. We know something is going on. I think down the line we will find out more about the details of them. But Lulu and Marvin both tell Rock, they look, you can protect your son. You can send him off to that good school with the escalators and all that, good academics, but it's not going to change. He's going to have a price on his head. It's going to be people that's going to go out there and try to take him out no matter where he lives. Now, Rock and Unique, they meet up, they have another conversation, and this time around it's not so friendly because we know that Buck 20 is gone. A body has been dropped, and now Unique is pretty much saying, look, all them deals that we made earlier is over with. I'm taking all the corners, plain and simple. And he makes some good points. Now, he does say, even if he was to squash this, because, Rock's like, look, don't touch my son. And he said, look, even if I was to dead that, we was to squash that whole thing about your son not being hit, I can't even promise you that anybody from Buck 20's family won't try to do something to him. So we know that Kanan is hot. It don't matter if they was to squash this or not. He's going to have somebody going out there try to take him out at all costs. And then your girl Rock pretty much tells Unique, like, look, my son has nothing to do with this. Don't worry about him. And Unique is like, well, you and Defcon's had Kanan. And by that alone, he's born into all this. So we learn about the character Defcon's, which to me, I believe is Kanan's dad. Maybe we're going to learn more about him. That is just his street name from my understanding. What do you guys think about this? At the end of the day, Rock is very, she's very down and out. She understands that her son has a high risk of being taken out, and she does not want that to happen. And she's going to try to do whatever she can to protect him, but it's going to be very hard. Now, Unique has all the corners. Rock said, look, I won't blink. I'm going to continue to try to do what I can do, but a war is something that she does not want. Trust me. It's something that she does not want to do. So in her heart, she said, you know what? I got to prepare my son. I have to prepare him from the future because he is in the game. He pulled that trigger, and now he has to prepare for the aftermath, for those consequences. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Y'all can already tell just based off the previews that your boy Kanan is going to have people coming at him from every direction. And it's going to get crazy, man. Each and every episode, I'm eager to see how Kanan is going to pull through all of this. Now, Rock does go back home. She wakes up Kanan and lets him know, look, it's time to get up out of here. We have to go. And I mean, it's in the middle of the night. So in Kanan's eyes, he's like, okay, we talked about me going to my grandparents. And in real life, 50 Cent actually stayed with his grandparents. His mom was killed when he was, I believe, 8 years old or whatever. And he actually went to go stay with his grandparents. So that's probably what he is thinking right now. Kanan, like, okay, I'm out of here. It's just not going to work for me. Rock understands she has to teach him the game. And she tells him, look, we got a lot on our plate right now. And then she makes a great, I would say a great example by comparing her and her son to Orion the Hunter. She told him to look up to the stars. She said, look at them stars. That's Orion and the Hunter. That's me and you. The thing is this, Kanan. We are hunters. We are not the hunted. We go and we seek and we destroy. We ain't about to have nobody come to us and destroy us. She's pointing that out to him because now ain't no time to be messing around anymore. You know what I'm saying? She tells him, this is it. She makes him shoot a gun and this bullet goes, pretty much to no man's land. And she says, see, that's something that you're going to have to worry about your whole life. That bullet with your name on it is going around the world. And that's the same bullet you're going to have to worry about dodging for the rest of your life. Pretty much saying that in this game, you're going to always have somebody on you. You're going to be catching these bodies as you just caught one. You're going to always have that person coming, trying to take you out. But Kanan understands this, I believe, or he will eventually understand it. It's not going to end well eventually down the line for a lot of the people that's in Rock's organization. But we do know Kanan will learn a lot. His mind really doesn't really have a choice, in my opinion, now. Kanan is in it. He's in the game, as she told him. You wanted to be in it, now you're in it. And it's going to be very interesting to see this story, how everything in between the story broke down, because we know the ending. As 50 Cent said, we can hear him. He said, you know my story, you know the ending. He just told you the beginning, but in between is the story that we're about to see. What's going to go down? Will everybody in this whole organization last? We know just based on power history alone, that's not going to happen. It's going to be some bodies dropping. Some people that's going to be very close to Kanan will be dropped off. Some of the fan theories are this. Sean, his best friend, Famous, may get popped off. We know he is, coming to season 2. Just letting you guys know. But down the line, he could possibly go. So is that the reason Kanan's son was named Sean? Was he named after his best friend? Some things out there that we just got to think about. But I'm eager to see the story. I did like the whole Orion and the Hunter example that Rock was using, because she's like, look, man, we the hunters, plain and simple. We ain't no hunted. Reminds me of Breaking Bad when Walter White said, look, I am the danger. because his wife Skylar was saying, look, you know, it's danger out there, and he had to tell her, like, look, I am the danger. Ain't no danger out there. I'm the one. You know what I'm saying? So I get that in this storyline, as Rock is telling her son, look, we are the hunters. So they can think what they want to think. They coming at us, but in reality, we coming at them. Trust and believe that. This whole Power Book 3 Raising Kanan storyline is great. I can't wait to see the rest of it, man. Like I told you guys, some of the story will be truthful. 50 Cent's lifestyle will be implemented within the show, within certain storylines. Of course, I know the fans love this whole 90s theme. It's bringing back all types of memories, the music, the vibes. Man, it's a hell of a show, man. And as I told you guys, it was a great introduction. I can't wait for episode 2. These episodes, they be flying by. And they be giving us damn near a 4 hour of the episode. And they still just fly by. We got 9 more left, y'all. I can't wait to see it. You guys, thank you for returning. For everybody that's, came back. It's been a while since we had Power, but thank you guys for returning, watching the video. We're going to continue to talk Power, get you guys ready for episode 2. We're going to continue to break down some of these characters and some more storylines this week. So I want you guys to stay tuned, man, and follow the channel, follow the playlist, and just get ready. But thank you. Let me go on out of here, man. It's your boy Mark Dark. I'm out. Peace.